In this lesson, we'll take a look at a few extra tools we have for blend shapes under the Edit Deformers menu. Let's head over to Edit Deformers, Blend Shape, and we'll go ahead and take a look at the window. Let's go ahead and just tear it off and move it over to the side. So at the top, we can add blend shapes. Let's go ahead and head over to the option box. What we'd want to do is go ahead and specify our node. If we were working with multiple nodes, we need to select them, or select the node we'd like to add the blend shape to from the existing nodes drop-down. And then underneath, you can also specify if it's going to be an in-between target. And then we could also check for topology as our last option. But now it's just a matter of adding the target the way we would normally add a blend shape. Select the target, shift select the base head, and choose apply. You see that now this new target has been added to our blend shape node. Something very important to keep in mind, especially for facial animation, is that you wouldn't want to add an entirely new blend shape node under Create Deformers if you already have one. Instead, just go ahead and use the Add tool. Otherwise, what would happen is you'll have to blend between your envelope channels in order to see both shapes. Whereas if you go ahead and use the Add tool, that's not necessary at all. You can go in and blend with no problem. We could also remove targets. So if we were to go to the option box, again, you specify your node. You could also specify the target if you know its name exactly. But if you don't, it's just a matter of selecting the target you like to remove, followed by the base head. Once you've specified your node, you can go ahead and choose apply. And now target A is no longer a part of our blend shape list. Only B and C. Now swap, what that's going to do is just change the order of your blend shapes. So the way this works is you'd want to go in and select the two targets in this case, but any targets you like to swap the order of, you'd select them and simply choose swap. We can go to the options, specify our node, and choose apply and close. Now you'll see that C is going to be ahead of B. The next option is if we were to make any change in our topology. So this is a really effective tool. What we'd basically do is go in and, let's say, add a change to the character's mesh. But once that's done, you may run into some issues when you trigger your target. So if that happens, you simply use the bake topology to targets, and that's going to update your target so you can avoid those issues. So for instance, if we were to go in and, let's say, use the split poly tool, this is really a dangerous thing here, shouldn't do that, especially if the character has been bound already. But just to show you this, notice that I've added a change to the character's topology with the split poly tool. Again, I've accessed that holding down shift, holding down the right mouse button, choosing split poly tool. But now we can go ahead and choose bake topology to targets. May get a warning because this was a dangerous split, but you'll see that now the targets have been updated with that change. There's B and there is C. A has been removed again from that blend shape node, so it didn't update that shape. Chances are we don't want that change though, so we'd probably want to go in and delete those bad edges. Simply go in. With them selected, I'll head over to Edit Mesh. Simply tear this off and choose the Delete Edge Vertex tool to remove those safely. And now, of course, going back to object mode, we'd want to choose Bake Topology to Targets to update everything. And just to double check, alright, everything's clean and good to go. Now the next option is for normalization groups. This is basically a way of organizing your targets to be normalized, or your normalized targets within groups. And what you can do with this is edit your normalization group ID. So with your base head selected, you can go in and change your ID if you need to. So notice from here, you can now actually go in and check to make sure that these new groups are going to be normalized. What that basically means is that the highest amount you can paint, if you were to paint on your blend shape deformer, is going to be a value of 1. So you can't surpass that. So that's basically what normalization groups do. All right, so closing this out, and speaking of painting, we could actually paint how much influence a blend shape will have on our base head. So just to show you this, we can, let's say, trigger target B. And now with our head selected, we can go to Edit Deformers, and choose the Paint Blend Shape Weights tool. Go into the options. Here we have our blend shape target. What you'll also see is our new normalization groups also added. So we can paint to them. So if we were to go to B and, let's say, remove some influence, we can choose Replace, set that to, let's say, half the amount, 0.5. Use a soft brush. Holding down the B key and holding down the left mouse button, we can now go in and start to paint and remove influence. So this might look like a weird shape, but now, in some areas, only half of those points are being influenced by the blend shape. So just to take a look at that, and that might look kind of weird. Actually, that looks very stylized, not bad at all. One of those happy accidents, right? All right, well, we've taken a look at a few blend shape tools we have. Definitely experiment with them, and if you need to add any extra targets, we know how to do that. If we need to remove targets or change the order of our blend shapes, we most certainly know how to do that now. We learned about normalization groups, and we also learned how to paint blend shape weights to create something really interesting in the end.